Welcome to another edition of the Garden Angels of Justice and Peace with your host, Pearl Polto from Philadelphia, and
Josie Brandon from sunny Arizona.
the great news is Josie will be here live next week, sitting right here. We're going to be doing a lot of good topics. She'll be in the Philadelphia area, sunny Philadelphia, and we're all excited over this because this is I can't we had the show last week, and the show last week was so phenomenal. We had so many hits on it, and this is the hits that we're getting. The people want to hear us more and more and more. And Josie and I are not just doing the shows here, and I'm going to take it over to Josie as well because we're going to be doing many, 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 many seminars. So, but she's going to take it where actually she talks better than I do when it comes to the seminars. Take over, Josie.
Well, I think a lot of people are asking because our TV show is called The Guardian Angels of Justice and Peace, and we're doing seminars now across the USA. Our official tour is happening now, and so people are asking what the seminar is going to be about. So today's show is about our seminars, and it's going to be about the topics, what we're going to be talking about, how it's going to be designed to really inspire people's lives. And the topic is about how to raise your credit score and how to overcome loss like divorce or anything that goes on in your life that's affected you.
Josie, give us a few samples of when the people attends our seminars. Give it first and I will give it. What are some of the topics that if somebody's sitting in their living room right now and they're thinking about it and they've watched this show so many times, give us a few topics that you think that's going to be of interest to the people in healing them, in talking what it's all about, without giving any answers out. So what are some of the topics that you intend to talk about?
Well, I think that the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to keep it real. I think people need to know that we've been where they've been in terms of their situation. And we'll get down to all those different things that we've gone through, but we're going to teach them how they can stop the pain that's been living inside of them and transform it into realizing that's an opportunity to heal, because there's things that are limiting them right now. So it's a seminar and a workshop, and we're going to be able to identify the things they say, the things they do, the people, the thoughts that are happening in their lives right now that's holding them back from actually getting to where they want to be. And also the things that we're going to be talking, I'm going to share my personal story of all the things that I went through and why I was so awakened and started a divorce support network in 2005, and all the incredible stories and the studies that have come out of divorce. There are really a lot of things going on in this country, and there's a lot of tragic stories that are happening out there. The courts are filled with court cases because things are not getting resolved in this country. And so we're going to get down to the core of these issues, and of course also the core of the solutions for these issues. So people are going to come in, they're going to get all kinds of information on what's going on inside of them in terms of discovery for themselves, the statistics around the country for divorce. And then we're also going to talk about their relationship, of how they can have a new conversation with God. A lot of times people say, God, where are you? And we're going to talk about how you can turn that conversation is where, God, I want to find you, because I'm going to share my personal story and how that transformed my entire life. And we pray that it'll do the same thing for everyone coming into the program.
Through your personal experiences, what you're going to be educating the people, and they're going to sit back and they're going to see you went through it too, and how you survived and how lessons you were taught as well. Am I correct?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. I think it's so important to let people know that I understand where they're coming from. I mean, and I mean that deep pain that no one really likes to talk about when they're going through a divorce. And this is really an opportunity for someone coming in who's really hungry for change. Because I remember when I was going through certain moments in my life that were going through this, I made a decision that I no longer wanted to suffer. I no longer wanted to feel bad or sad or feel like I was worrying. I made a choice, and that choice was to believe in my destiny. And I'm going to talk about that. We're going to go step by step of what I went through, and then allow the people in our workshop to go through their own journey by themselves. They don't have to reveal anything with anyone. This is their own little workshop, their own seminar, but I'm going to share my story, and then we're going to talk about how they can apply certain things in their lives as well.
You know, you mentioned a key word, and that key word to me was hungry.
Yes.
People has to be hungry enough to get educated, to want to change, and then to change. And if they say, you know, I'm stuck in this marriage, or I'm stuck here, I think this seminar is going to teach them, hey, I don't have to be stuck anywhere. And you know what? Maybe this is going to give me some motion to move on, or to change jobs, or to do whatever they have to do. And that's only one step. The thinking about it and changing their lives, like, and divorced. I've been divorced for so long, I even forgot what it was all about. But you know, it been there, did it, done it. But the thing is, you know, a lot of people out there that are freshly divorced and they go into a second marriage. We're gonna, I think, you of all people, we're gonna just be discussing all this, correct?
Absolutely. We're gonna really get down into the core root of what we're seeing, and how these issues are really coming up again for people when they're not really taking the time out to really understand what's going on inside of them. And when I say that, what I'm really trying to say is that when the attendee comes in, when you come into the seminar, when you come into the workshop, this is really your time to design your life, to sit back and say, I don't want to be in pain anymore. I don't want to worry anymore. I don't want to be frustrated anymore. And the great thing is that you're actually coming to a place where there are going to be wondrous solutions, wonderful solutions for you. I mean, between the credit, Pearl, we'll talk about what you're going to be doing. I mean, it's phenomenal. And the things that I'm sharing and what they're going to be doing through that workshop, it's just going to be amazing.
You know, people does things for one of two reasons: desperation and inspiration. And we're hoping to give, no, we are going to give them the inspiration of learning of how to move on. And if they were making a decision in their life at that time, to say, hey, you know what, maybe I think Josie's going to be directing it to the people out there to say before they make that mistake, and you will learn from it at the same time. Same with here. We, you know, divorce is critical in this country. I don't know why. You know, sometimes I look back and I'm thinking, what's wrong? What's wrong with the people today? Why there's so much? Why is the divorce rate so high? Or why is the second divorce rate so high? Why do you think? I mean, they have to be hungry, knowing what they're coming to seminar for and to get healed. But why is the divorce rate? What's your opinion on that? Why do you think it's so high?
Well, again, this is my opinion, but I really believe that, when we're growing up, we have these belief systems, we have this idea of what we want, and maybe they were good ideas, maybe they were great belief systems, but somewhere along the path, we may have lowered our expectations. We may have minimized our dreams because maybe someone came into your world and they thought your ideas were too big or too small or whatever it might be. You might have someone come into your life and then you start to question yourself. And there's a lot of reasons why things are happening, but I really believe that people really don't understand what love is, because there's been such a distorted viewpoint of love. I mean, people are being raised in broken families
Mhm.
and they have these feelings or these anxieties or these thoughts of what love is, and they really don't know what love is.
This
And
is
so we're
why
going
they
to talk about
stay.
that.
This is why they stay in an abusive marriage, because they think this is what it's all about, I guess.
They might think that it's all. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Sometimes people stay because they don't feel they have enough self-esteem yet. They haven't developed enough self-esteem to see the potential within themselves, or maybe they haven't developed the communication skills to effectively communicate with their partner.
Or
You
they're
know,
afraid of changes.
and they're afraid of change. A lot of times it's fear. It's the fear of the unknown, fear of change. And we're going to talk about this at the seminar. Not only going to talk about it, we're going to show people exactly step by step how to go from fear and turn it into fuel, which is about transforming your life.
You know, this is going all across the country. Before we go into the credit portion, and one works with the other. Well, let's go into that, and then we'll go into your city, your states, and everything else like that. But when two people get divorced, this is my expertise. Uh, what happens is there's there's no harmony in a divorce naturally, and one is fighting the other. I mean, we're going to make it real, just as what's happening in your household. And what happens is they're trying their best to put you under bad credit, lose the home, and you're sitting there and you're saying, I'm done. I'm actually done. I'm not only getting a divorce, I got bad credit. I lost my house. I lost my car. They're repossessing my car, and I'm done. But you know what? This seminar is going to tell you and show you you're not done. And I love it. I love it because when I'm teaching the people, that, and it's my challenge as well, to let you know not only you're not done, then to put you through the next step to get that credit back again. And I can't do two of yous. I can only do one, whoever comes as a client. But the thing is, it's interesting how I could put your whole life back in shape. Not only Josie puts it back in shape mentally in getting you on the right path, but I can get you on the right path when it comes to credit and getting that home, getting that apartment, or if you got turned down, because we're in a world right now, it's all credit. It's all credit. And the worst thing a spouse can do, and this is the worst thing a spouse can do, is put you under because he thinks he got you or she got you. And it doesn't work this way, because there's people out there like Josie and myself with this Garden Angels of Justice and Peace. And the justice and peace doesn't stop there. It's not just on the credit. There's justice and there's peace. The justice is not just for the credit. The justice is also for the court system. The justice is for how these attorneys are freezing your account. The justice is for how your bank, your own bank, is freezing and letting bill collectors freeze your account. And there's many people out there that are listening tonight by saying, I know that's me. They just froze my account and I unfroze it. But if you didn't get the education, your account may be still frozen. So I believe these seminars, it's going to be an eye opener, not just with the divorce and how to proceed, but I think it's going to be an eye opener that it's going to change your life forever. What do you think?
It's definitely about a new beginning, and I think that's the biggest thing that people need to keep in their hearts and their mind when they come. It's that all the devastation that they think they went through, we can both identify as far as changes in life and things that happen in a divorce. And the key is that they have to have a true hunger to want to change their circumstance. Their circumstance is not forever. It's one moment in time. But the changes are going to be in direct proportion to where they put themselves. That's why the seminar is so important for them to go to, because it's going to give them the core solutions on how to get from where they are in this devastation into an awakening and into the point of seeing new hope and a new beginning, because that's really what this is. It's a new beginning. And once they start changing their perspective and seeing what's out there, what they were conditioned to believe all these years and what's really out there, we're going to be able to bring them these solutions. They're going to go home feeling as if they just walked into this incredible, amazing transformation of information and I guarantee you they'll be telling their friends and family about it. That's how powerful this information is going to be for them.
When I read the whole thing, when I read the pamphlets and I read everything, I wanted to sign up myself. I wanted to sign up myself because, and I'm one of the speakers, but the thing is, I wanted to sign up myself. I was putting myself into a consumer's. I wanted to see if I felt hungry enough. And a lot of people, they're depressed, and you're saying, well, how do you feel hungry when you're lost? What do you tell a person? A person is sitting there and they're saying, well, how do you tell me to be hungry? I want this information, but I have nothing. How do I start over if I have nothing? What do you tell people like that to say, hey, let's attend our seminar. Let's attend it, and we can't guarantee, but I will guarantee, as far as the credit, Josie will guarantee that you will walk out of there a better person with knowledge, education, and I'm going to say you will be hungry to take the next step. What do you think?
Absolutely. What I would say to somebody is I do guarantee the fact that they will get information that will transform their life. It's whether or not they're going to choose to do these things that they're going to be taught. We're going to be sharing information. These are nuggets. These are golden nuggets of opportunities that are in front of them. And when you go to an event and you start taking this information, if you don't utilize that's like a seed that's not getting water on it or soil on it. So you want to make sure you're doing what's necessary. And we are going to be giving them that information. They will feel empowered. They will know that the solutions exist. And the next step is to give them enough inspiration to let them understand that destiny, that goodness, that prosperity that they're seeking is right in front of them. They just have to make that choice to believe it's in front of them. And once they make that choice, they will be able to see the things they need to see and do the things they need to do to make it all happen.
Again, I want to sign up, but the thing is, I don't want to forget this. There was a person last week that listened to the show, and I want to address this to a couple people out there, especially a couple people out there. And one is from Hawaii. I am so sorry. He contacted me. I did get numbers. If you're watching this show tonight, please contact us again, and so we can set up a seminar right there in your state. Here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to reach every city, every state, every church, every organization. And if you're one of these people that you have a company, an organization, and you say, or let's say you're an employer, and you say, you know what, I could go for an hour break of all my employees to learn this because half of my employees are divorced or depressed. They're not working hard because of their depression. So it could be you as the boss setting this up. Or it could be you as the minister setting it up with your church to say, you know, I would like to have that in my church. How far will you go? Josie, tell the people how, and what states we will be going to, and how far we will go, and how it's going to work.
Well, I always say that God is our compass, right? So we're going to be touching every state here in the United States. There's everyone in this country is in need of this information. I mean, if you're going through, whether you're going through a divorce, you've been through a divorce, if you're in a relationship that you're struggling with, if you're in a business that's struggling, if you have lost a business, if you've had a job change, if you're asking a lot of questions, if you're looking at your bank account, at your credit score, and you're saying, what happened to my life? You need to come to the seminar and workshop. This is where we're going to be able to do some transformation. So we're actually going to be hitting every state here in the United States. And that's the gentleman you mentioned in Hawaii is because our phones have been ringing with people asking about the seminars, and we're setting up the dates. Within the next couple weeks, those dates will actually be on the website, so people are able to identify where they can go in what city and to start attending these events.
And it doesn't make a difference what city and state. Like right now, we have contacts with the Florida area, we have contacts with the New York area, and a restaurant owner is opening up his restaurant to the people in the restaurant to actually throw a seminar there because he wants the people to come in that he waits on to say, hey, we're going to give you all this free, we're going to give you not the free information, we're going to give you the information. We're going to talk about that as well. But each state is going to be a little bit different, and no state is going to be exempt from us. Josie had, and I'm not sure she's going to hold it up or not, but I would love you to see just a little bit of it. It's going to be on our website, and these are pamphlets. But if you look inside the camera, you're going to see something believable that she put together. And if you look at this, it's a picture of the White House. It's a picture of Josie and myself. And it's a picture of the pamphlet that people will be receiving. Now, if you want a seminar, let's say in your church, and you saying, you know what, how do I go about it? Well, this is the pamphlet. That's the front cover that you're going to be getting.
All the information is actually in the pamphlet. And then we talk about the credit score. Your mindset is in direct proportion to where your credit score is going to go. And we'll talk about that at the seminar. But I put the White House on there because we need to let the Americans know that we were actually invited to meet President Obama in September. I mean, that's a major thing talk about taking a dream and making it become real that anybody can do. If you have pure intent, if your intention is pure, and you're looking to do something, and you have the expertise and background, God's going to make it all come together. He'll make the impossible possible. And this is really what it's all about. So the White House is on there because, Pearl, we've been blessed with the opportunity to meet the president.
Wow.
Later in the year.
Can you imagine? This is going to be, but you know what? It's not, can I imagine? It's not that you can imagine. This is far overreach. The president knows the problems of this country, and he's going to know it more so. He's going to know it from Josie and myself. And I think he wants changes too, as he's always saying, I want change. But I think it's time that you, the people, don't just sit back. Don't just sit back to say, you know what, well, if he comes to my town, I'll 10. No, make it a point. Make it a point, because you don't want to miss out on this. Again, I keep on saying, you got two superstars on the same stage. What more do you want? You don't have just a country and western singer. You have an author. You have both. You have both. And we're giving you an education of a lifetime. And I can vouch for this. And this is a promise. You will not hear a pin drop on the floor when we're talking. You will not hear a pin drop, because everything that we're going to say, you're going to say, I want to take it in over and over and over again. If it comes to your divorce, if it comes to your marriage, if it comes to your credit, if it comes to the court system, you want to know what the court system is doing. Now, what's our intention is we're not just going to talk about it. We also want solutions. How are we going to get the solutions? Well, that's easy. That's easy. We will sit down with every congressman, with every White House official, and we will say, here's what the people wants. Here's what we need in our court system. Here's what we need with our judges. Here's what we need to make it fair, a fair playing ground in the court system. And many people aren't getting it, and they're not getting it, so they're so frustrated. We are going to be your helpers here. Try not just educate you, but make it happen to you. We're going to take a little break. We're going to go for a commercial with one of our Dream Team sponsors, and we'll be right back with Josie and Pearl.
There's nothing more disruptive and annoying than getting an automated call to your cell phone. There are laws against companies using computers or recorded messages to call you on your cell phone without your permission. This is consumer protection attorney Carrie Flitter. You've heard me as a guest on the Pearl Polto Show. There are consumer laws in place that prohibit many of the unwanted calls to your cell phone. If you're receiving unwanted or unauthorized calls, whether collection, selling products or services, or otherwise, you may be entitled to have these calls stopped and to collect money damages that the law provides. If you're getting unwanted or pre-recorded calls to your cell phone, contact us, the Consumer Protection Lawyers at Flitter Lorenz, at 888-668-1225. That's 888-668-1225, or online at consumerslaw.com. That's consumers with an S, consumerslaw.com. If we accept your case, the bad guys pay our bill.
You're listening to the Guardian Angels of Justice and Peace. Founders of the Justice and Peace is Josie Brendan and Pearl Polto, and we're here talking about addressing this to you in your hometown, and we're finally going to take it on the road to your state, your hometown, your church. And this is, I always say, we're on a mission, but this is going to be a mindset where it's going to be forever, because that's what our mission is, to change people's lives. And how can we change people's lives? One, to educate you. Two, to hit home, and that's Washington, and to hit our congressmen. And everybody's running for office now, and now's the time to make these laws change. Do you want to make these laws change? Of course you do. With the court system, who puts in these judges? The people. Who puts in these congress people? The people. Who puts in the president? The people. So it's up to us. And I know you're saying, well, I'm just one person. I used to hear that a lot. I'm just one person. One person, all it takes to make it or break it. And it takes you, and then that one person becomes thousands. And yet it makes a difference. And if it makes a difference in your life, don't ever think just because you're one person to say, well, my one vote's not going to count. It always counts. And I can assure you, once you get educated at this seminar, you will get educated, because people are so disgusted what's going on. People are disgusted with the court system, the judges, the credit, the banks. And yet, Josie, on the other hand, the people are disgusted with staying in a marriage they shouldn't be in, leaving a marriage, and then they think they're lost, or they're staying there anyway. And they don't know what they're throwing their hands up in the air. They think it's hopeless. And we're trying to show you, this wasn't done overnight. We put much thought into this. We put much thought into what we're going to be talking about. We put much thought in helping you. And you know what? It comes easy to us because we've been there, done it, did it. And now it's our turn to give it back to the people. And it's not just we're on a mission and it's over. This is going to be forever. This is going to be forever. There's an old saying of an author of a book. It says, how long can you be on the road? You could be on the road for a lifetime. And then some authors will be on the road for a week. But you see, it all depends on the person, because nothing is impossible. Nothing's impossible. We've already showed that to you. Now it's up to us teaching you to show the world nothing is impossible. And if you think it's impossible, then you don't know Josie and myself. Am I right, Josie?
You know what? I think the most important thing is that we believe in restoring America, and we believe in restoring American lives, and we know we're speaking because we are we are stories, we are testimonials to the transformation of what's out there and what's occurred in our lives and things that are happening. And I think the biggest thing that people need to understand is that their voices count and their feelings count and their experiences count. But people need to understand that sometimes you need to sit down and take a moment for yourself and identify core situations, core things that are going on in your life to make better decisions, to make better choices. And that's exactly what they're going to get at the seminar. They're going to be able to identify these things that are going on within themselves and then get the solutions necessary to make these changes. Now, part of our vision and what we're doing is we're bringing facts to America. We're letting people know really what is going on in the court system. We've gone through, we've dissected the system. We've dissected the statistics out there on what's going on. We've talked to countless Americans out there and finding out what's going on in their marriages and divorce, what they're feeling. And we're saying these are things that are going on. And if we don't start doing something about identifying these core issues, there are root causes of why these things are happening. If we don't start identifying these root causes, this will continue to happen over and over again. So what we're doing is we're stopping the devastation and turning it over into information that's going to transform America. And if I'm the biggest thing I want to get someone out there is, if you're someone who's listening to the show right now, I know that there was a moment in my life where I got down and I asked God, help me, show me the way. I'm frustrated. I'm tired. I want my life renewed. I want you to show me the way. If you're in that moment of feeling that, this is your opportunity. This is your grace. When I call it grace from God, this is your moment to get involved and attend the workshop. You will be moved into action and you will start seeing your life transform.
I think just because they're going to see themselves in you, that's one. And they're going to see themselves hurting, that's two. And you just, believe it or not, you just answered many people's questions because they're going to see the emotions, they're going to see the heartbreak, they're going to see, and we're going to be real. We really are. We're going to be real. As I said, even with me, I wasn't born a credit expert, and Josie, wanted to be married for the rest of her life, and yet everybody out there as well. But it doesn't happen. We don't live, as we say, in a perfect world, but we want to, and you're going to hear it. Actually, if Josie had to attend, now let me ask you, Josie, if you had to attend a seminar, would you attend? Now, and don't be prejudiced. Don't be prejudiced now because it's us. But if you had to attend, knowing the knowledge that we both have, and if you were talking as a consumer, and that consumer was, you were a third party, would you attend and why?
The answer would be yes. I would have to believe in who I was attending to see. I would have to feel a certainty within my spirit that would say, this is something that I want to go to. This is someone who I believe could show me something different, something that maybe I haven't explored yet. So absolutely. I think, the key is if you're hungry, right? If you're hungry, you're going to go to see if there's something there. And the truth of the matter is you're going to get a nugget. You're going to get more than nuggets. I mean, there's so many times I'm sure people out there, if they've gone to a seminar, they've gotten something out of it. And they're like, oh, that one thing was so powerful. It was worth that seminar. We've got nuggets upon nuggets upon nuggets upon nuggets that are being presented. I mean, you're literally going to sit there and go, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I didn't know this. I didn't know that there was this law that protected me. I didn't know that I could actually raise my credit score in 30 days and not 7 years like I've been conditioned to believe. I didn't know that I could get a judgment removed off my credit score. I didn't know all these things. And what can you do to empower yourself to know it and then take action? That's the key. So you're asking me, would Josie go? The answer is absolutely. I said, God is my compass. If I felt in my heart and my soul that this was something that was potentially going to create an expansion of my awareness, I would absolutely go.
Good. We're signing you up. There's 2 people signed up. If you're in, no matter what state you are in, and we're stressing this for a reason, because as you're saying, how far will you go? How far will the both of us go? We will go as far as eternity if we're going to help you direct your life. And as I said, this is not just something that's done overnight. This is our mission. And it took Josie and I to discover this, that this was our mission. I'm a specialty in the justice part, the credit, the banks, the court systems, and she's an expert right now. She's a definitely expert because of the feelings part in directing you. If she knew what she knew before 10 years ago, maybe it wouldn't have happened. But you're going to know. You're going to know before you take that step of 5 years from now to say, hey, maybe I better think this out. Or maybe, you're sitting there and you think you're done with the credit, your house, your car, and you're sitting there saying, well, I'm done. You're not done. Or let's say an attorney. And this is a number one on the list. If an attorney freezes your account because, and you're saying, well, my husband did it, my wife did it. No, they didn't do it. The attorney did it. It was the bill collector, and he did it illegally. So you have the right. You have to know all this. You're going to know all this as your rights. There's so much. The people that I talk to, and I unfreeze bank accounts, and I'm saying unfreeze bank accounts by telling the bill collectors, the attorney, the law, and I always say to myself and I say to my clients, I wish the whole world knew now what you know, because, and this is what these seminars are all about, because if you knew your credit rights and you knew what they could and could not do, you would say, oh my God, what a lesson to learn. Even if it was that one little piece that took you in the right direction. Well, that's my goal. And Josie's goal is to actually educate you so you come up to us at the end of the seminar and you're going to say to us, you know what, this is the best seminar I ever had, ever seen in all my years. You too are making a difference. We're hearing it every day. But now it's our turn to come to your hometown, and we're going to love it. We're going to love it. I've been on many tours, but the thing is, and Josie's been on many tours, but it's nothing going to be like standing on that stage, looking at you right in the eye to say, I'm going to change your life, and we're going to do it. Right, Josie?
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is that, there's going to be people of all walks of life, different experiences, and they may be concerned about being judged or sharing information that's very personal. That's not going to happen here. We're not going to ask you to divulge information. It's like your private time with yourself at the workshop, where you're going to be able to ask yourself questions and go through these things and find these self-discovery breakthroughs that are really going to transform your life. And what we're giving you is the opportunity to get this information, and then you decide how you're going to take the next step. Because what we're going to be telling you and sharing with you facts. I've spent years studying the study of human excellence, and that's if people that know my background for years. I worked with different leaderships around the country and coached and all that, and all the things that you can imagine with helping people with their businesses and their personal lives. And I have to tell you that when I went through my divorce years ago, I can't even begin to explain, even though all the years of that experience, the feelings that I experienced in that moment really taught me so much about what people go through in pain, in devastation. And that is why I'm so excited. This is why I believe in this so much. And I want to encourage anybody who is just thinking about whether or not this is really going to be an opportunity for them to transform. My response to that is open your heart and take that leap of faith, because this is going to transform your life.
It's interesting that she said that, because Josie and I are on the same page at all times. We don't know why, but we're on the same page at all times, even with our thoughts and our words, because before she even said all this, I was going to say myself, we're not going to judge anybody, and we're not, and I'm going to say it like it is as well. I always say honesty, helps you and clears the soul and everything else. But I was not born, and everybody says, Pearl, you were born a credit. I was not born a credit expert. I was not born a credit expert. As a matter of fact, I was one of those people on welfare. I didn't want to be on welfare. So if you're sitting in your household by saying, well, I'm on welfare, where am I going to go with this? I don't have a job. I don't have this. Well, I was one of those people too. I had a part-time waitress job. I was on welfare supporting somebody. And the thing was, you get to the point where you have to step up to the plate to say, I don't.
What's going on, soul sister?
I'm taking us back to Josie right now, because the dog just the dog just turned the couch.
The dog got some activity behind the scenes.
Yes, we really do. The The dog must have liked my speech. He turned the couch over. And I'm sitting here wanting to know what the bang was. And Shayna, I know you're paying attention. The thing is, what I was trying to get back to before the dog interrupted me. Dog's a good teacher. What I would like you to do is, if you're on welfare and you think that there's no opportunity for you out there, and let's say, you don't know where to do and where to start. This is why I'm saying this seminar is for you as well, because I had to make up my mind back then. And as I said, I wasn't even into credit, but I had to make up my mind back then to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to take this no more. I want to improve myself and I want to learn. And this is the way it's going to happen. Nothing's impossible. And everybody said, well, you can't do this. This is going to take a lot of hard work. And I would say, so I'm into it. A lot of hard work. This is what I'm all about. And that's what I did. And I didn't stop. I did not stop. And I even put everything in the fire. I mean, I sang, songwriter. I did everything. But I made myself a promise then that I wasn't going to stop, to get off of welfare. And I wanted to increase my life to the point where I wanted to make myself and be proud of myself. And when you're proud of yourself, it shows. And then it's going to show to other people. So nothing would stop me back then. And now I still have that saying years later, nothing will stop me now. I mean, I've seen myself in my car driving to Washington, to Harrisburg, to say, I'm going to make changes. And I was a nobody. But I wanted to go to Washington and to Harrisburg to say, I'm going to make changes. So I get up to Harrisburg, I'm sitting around a round table, and all these professionals are there, and I'm telling them what I want done. I have no idea why, but this is what I wanted done. And for some reason, they listened. They listened to what the changes that I wanted to make done, and it happened. And I was, as I said, I was like here on the ladder. And the higher you go on the ladder, the more secured you get, the confidence in you. And I understand, as Josie was saying, when you're in a bad relationship, your confidence is down. Your confidence is down. Your money's down. Everything's down. So you're sitting back and you say, but what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to start? Well, that's your first mistake. Your first mistake is you don't say to people, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to start? You do it. You make it happen. And if you want to make it happen, you will. And this is the key of what we're trying to say. We did not come into this business just because everybody coaxed us into this business. We had to have something in our brain and ourselves and our heart and our soul to say, I'm going to make this happen. And we did. And this is why we got this far. So now we want to turn the tables, put the education to you, and make thousands of people, not just hundreds, thousands of people lead the same life. And many of you will give up and many of you won't. But our problem is right now is trying to get to as many people as possible. And it's going to say, hey, all we want is, thank you, Josie. Thank you, Pearl. You made a change in my life. And that's all we want to hear. And then we know what's going to happen. We know what's going to change the United States. Same as Josie.
And one thing I want to add as well is that, it's really about taking personal responsibility. And what I mean by that is that there's going to be people that come into our lives. Maybe somebody came into your life, whether it's a spouse, a significant other, came into your life, and you're saying, I'm in a bad relationship. Well, the truth of the matter is somewhere along the way, you decided to not follow through on something that was within yourself. There may have been some warning signs that you decided not to follow through. I call them the red flags, or the silent inner knowing, that gut feeling. And so, we can go on and blaming people all day long. And people, for instance, I'll use a great example. If you're a mother, and I'm talking from personal experience, who has, didn't get paid child support or has not been paid child support in years and years and years and years, and you're saying, I'm not doing anything until I get paid child support. You really need to take some responsibility of your life, because your children need you now. They need to have a parent that's going to start taking some action and not relying either on a government check or on a child support check. You need to take action. And I'm not saying you don't deserve to have the child support. Believe me, I'm talking from a place of experience. When you attend the seminar, you'll know what I'm talking about. Where I'm going with this is that God is giving you all the tools within yourself to make it happen. And we got to start taking some personal responsibility. It starts with us. It starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with everybody taking personal responsibility, because until we start looking at ourselves, we won't have room to really look at anybody else, because it begins within. And that's what the message is going to be. It begins within, and then how to appreciate the message within yourself and how to take responsible action, so that as you move forward in your life, you're not repeating the cycles that devastate you. Instead, you're introducing new cycles, new things, new awakenings, new experiences that enlighten you and bring you joy into your life, the kind of life that God has promised you.
And we're not directing this, and let me say it, we're not directing this just to people that are in a divorce, and we're not directing this to people that just has credit problems. We're trying to direct this to the big circle. The big circle is, you may not have a credit problem, but it's always wise to know your credit rights. It's always wise so you never go that far in having a credit problem, because this is where, again, the economy went under, to the point because everybody didn't understand their credit problems. They didn't understand their credit rights. So before you get there, even if you have good credit, you're going to get an education of a lifetime. Now, suppose you're sitting in your household and you say, I'm in a happy marriage. We had a couple of quivers. My husband or my wife was cheating. Well, that's enough. That's enough to make some changes in your life, to say, why am I here? Should I be here? And if I should be here, let's make some changes within ourselves. So, it doesn't say that you have to be divorced. It doesn't say you have to have credit problems to attend, because this is going to make you a better person. I didn't have a credit problem when I was on welfare, but I still wanted to do things. And you may want to do things when it comes to, as Josie said, it's an overall picture when it comes to your family. It's a rundown. First, you get divorced. Then there's child support. Then everything is in one big circle. And it's a never-ending circle. But what about the people that are sitting there saying, well, I don't have these problems. That's not for me. Wrong. It's wrong. It is for you. Well, I've talked to so many people 10 years ago that said, well, this is not for me. And now they come back. They say, I met you 10 years ago at a seminar, and now I have a problem. But it's not that I can predict it. If you don't know your rights, something will come. Actually, something will come in your lifetime that you didn't create. It could have been your bank. It could have been your mortgage company. It could have been anything. But something's going to create problems, and you're going to know the answers. But you want to know the right answers, and you want to know it from the right people. We are the experts. We are the experts in these fields worldwide. And I always say, and I will say it again, it's not to pat ourselves on the back, but we do know. We do know the problems that are out there. We're seeing it rise every day, and we can help you with the solutions. You need the help, though. You need to be, as Josie says, you need to be hungry. Well, you have to have that passion, too. You have to have that passion to say, I want change. Because you're going to sit back, and you're going to take it, and you're going to die this way. Do you want to die this way knowing I could have done better? No. So take a chance. I mean, and if you're thinking about it, and we're in let's say your hometown or your church approaches you and says, hey, there's the seminar here with Guardian Angels of Justice and Peace. Go to see what we're all about. And I will assure you, you're going to sit back and you're going to say, wow, what an education that I got. We're hearing this now on this show, not just the seminars. On this show, you're going to hear many, many, many topics. As I said, we're going to be for real with these topics. It's not going to be just book things that we're just reading, studying. You're going to hear us, real people. And it's the heart and soul of us. That's what you're going to hear. And God put this together. And I'm still going to say God put this together. He put two people together to educate you. So how fortunate are you? We're fortunate because we met each other. We're fortunate because we have this power that God gave us. So, and if he gave us this power to teach you, you're a part of it. And who would not want to be a part of it? Go ahead, Josie. I heard you.
And that's the key, is everybody has got the power. We are not the only ones who's got the power. God's given us all the power. We just have to tap into that. What we are is resources for them to tap into, and then allow them to tap into their own power within. And that's the key. And let's get really serious about what's happening in this country. Look at our children. Look what's happening with the schools and the shootings and the things that are going on. Let's get real about it. It's because kids are confused. Families are not, are trying to hang in there from day to day, and there's a lot of things that are going on within. And we got to get back to really to the core issues of really restoring ourselves as adults. And really, because if you don't do it for yourself, then go and take a look at your children and look at those beautiful children that you've made and say, I am going to do it for not only for myself, because I want to show my child or children that I can make a life for ourselves. That the only limits there are no limits. The only limits are the ones we put up in our mind. Those are the limits, the ones in our mind. But there are no limitations. And so love yourself enough or love your children enough to take that extra step of going to a workshop that's going to get you to be the fullest potential of who you are and tap into the power of love and grace that you're destined to have.
You said a key word there. A person has to love themselves. Before they can love someone else, they have to love themselves. And their self-esteem and everything else comes with it. And, and there's many, many hurtful people out there, and we know it. But, we're going to, as I said, we're not going to judge anybody. We cannot judge anybody. We have our own faults, and we had our own faults. We just went through it. But when Josie said the key word, you have to love yourself, because you can't love anybody else, and you think you're loving somebody else if you can't love yourself. And that's on the list. And I always say, number one on the list is God. You love yourself, and then you love your spouse. And if that doesn't work that way, well, then you definitely need to hear, what we went through to actually see what you're going through. It's not so bad. It's really not so bad, because all it is you're sitting there and you're listening. If it works, it works. And it's going to work. We're trying to make things happen in this country. I'm going to have Josie, address now, if somebody wanted, I know you're sitting there back, my mental telepathy is kicking out. They're saying, well, where do I go? Where do I do to start this, to bring this to my hometown? Josie, do you have numbers? I know you have the flyers that, it's going to be on the website, but if somebody went on the website and if they're thinking about right now and they're saying, you know what, I want to bring them in our church, I want to bring them in our organization, what would you say to them now to get started?
Well, they can call the 800 number. It's 1-800-326-4550. That's the 800 number. And they can call the 800 number, and they'll be transferred to our event coordinating around the USA. And they can also go online to the guardianangelsofjusticeandpeace.com. And they'll get the information they need. And, of course, that will be listed as well on the video, so that they'll be able to access that. But they will be able to access the information in their community. And if there's someone in your community, if you're thinking about, oh, my goodness, this would be wonderful to bring to my church, to bring to my organization, give us a call. We're committed to reaching every American out there. We're committed to reaching every spirit that's inspired for change. And give us a call, and we will give you all the resources. We're going to keep it very simple. We're providing you all the marketing materials to make sure it's as smooth as possible for you. All the resources of ticketing, all the things that you possibly need. You don't need to worry about all that. Our people are taking care of that. We're just looking for Americans to take a leadership role, and they're given communities and set up the programs within their particular state. And once we get all that approved, we'll be there in your community, and we'll be sharing the love and the message, and we'll start restoring America.
And it's interesting. It's not just the seminars. We put a lot of things into this. We put an awful lot of our talents into this as well. Josie, being a country and western singer, the theme song of the Credit Lifeline, we also have the Credit Lifeline that was sold on QVC. That's going to be there. We're going to have so much there, and everybody at the seminar will get a free Guardian Angels Justice and Peace bracelet to wear, and that's going to signify when you're wearing that bracelet, every time you look at it, you're going to get stronger. It's a mind thing. That every time you look at this bracelet, if you're getting a divorce, if you're into a credit problem, you're going to look at that, you're going to wear it every day, and you're going to say, wow, that's going to make me stronger. Not the bracelet, but seeing the bracelet is going to make you stronger. And then other things we're going to be doing during this show, we're going to be doing a lot of things that are unheard of. because we want to make this so different than anything if you've ever been to before. We want to make this so different because, again, we have two superstars, as I will say, not to pat myself on the back, but I will, and Josie will too. So, we're on the same stage trying to help you. So you're going to listen to what we have to say because we're experiencing it all. We're experiencing it all. And we want to bring it to you in your living room. But this show right here, and some of you is just saying, well, why did you name it the Garden Angels? That we did past shows. You can go back to those shows, the Garden Angels of Justice and Peace. Josie and I is the founder of this, the Garden Angels of Justice and Peace. And we sat down and we chose this really heart to heart, why we wanted to call it this, because of what was happening in the United States. And not just overseas. It'll get to overseas afterwards. But right now, our mission is, and the president will love us because this is what he wanted to do for all his 8 years or whatever. So he's going to love us. The congressmen are going to love us. There's many people who are going to love us because they're saying what you two girls are doing, we should have done. So we're just going to make it easier for them. And then if we make it easier for them to help you, we're just going to sit back and we're going to say, wow, look at this law passed. Or look at this bank. Or look at this bill collector. He's backing up. Or look at this attorney. Or look at this judge. He wasn't reelected again. Or look at this congressperson. They put him in office again because now they know to join forces. And this is why I think, at least personally myself, I'm going to sit back and enjoy the ride. I'm not just I'm on a mission, but it's a mindset mission for a lifetime. I'm not doing this for 2 years, 2 months, whatever. This is the change, what's going on in this country. It went downhill for a long time. It's going to make it. We got a lot of states out there. We have a lot of people to hit and to touch. And my biggest glory is when I get phone calls and they say to me, or write me a letter to say, thank you, thank you. That's my biggest concern. That's my biggest concern. Josie, are we going to talk about, what these seminars are going to cost? Or, how does this work?
I think the thing that we need to ask the Americans is, do they want to be a part of the solution? Because it begins with each of us. That's really the core issue is, do you want to be a part of the solution? Once you start getting your life back on track, once you start seeing the information that's being given to you and the transformation that's been made, you're going to be a part of the solution. So that's what we're encouraging Americans to do, is be part of the solutions. And as far as the fee structure for the seminars, they really have to go online to get the information because there are certain organizations that are sponsoring the event and they're paying for tickets for the attendees. So it really depends on what organization you may be affiliated with, if they're sponsoring you for the event, or if you are doing your event in your own community. So there's a lot of different things. Go online. They will get the information on the fee structures as well.
And another reminder, the next show, you will see Josie and I side by side here. For the next, she'll be in the Philadelphia area, and we're going to be side by side, starting with each show and each topic that's important to you. It's so important, these topics. It's not just the seminars. The seminars is just going to be an overwhelming thing. The show here of the Garden Angels of Justice and Peace is to actually, for you to sit in your living room, and you're going to actually hear what we have to say about every topic, and we're going to be for real. As I always say, she's for real, I'm for real, and we're going to make it happen. We don't need, we're trying to make this so for real for you and so positive out there. And you want to see the passion. You have been seeing the passion, all the feedbacks, that's coming through. It's a blessing to see all the feedbacks, and there's so many of you that saying, you know what, I love the show. Go, Josie, go, Pearl. I love the show. And that's what we want to hear, because then it's like, it's working. It's working. And if it's working, then they want to join forces or they want to change their life. Either way, it doesn't matter to us, as long as you change your life through us and what we're trying to do. Next week, as I said, Josie will be here live in the Philadelphia area and the Sunshine State, not Arizona. and the key is there is a theme song, and that's going to be sold at the seminars as well. And that theme song, everybody loves it. Everybody that has come to me loves it, and it's a great theme song. And I'm not going to say the title because every time I say it, it's saying it wrong.
How about I tell them what it is?
Josie's going to say the title.
The song that I wrote is called "I Want a Love Like That," and it's a song about, when you look at this older couple, and they've been married for years and years and years, and they treasure each other. They still do the little things for each other, and they care about each other. They do all the things that are necessary. They've been through the good, the bad, the ugly, but they still love each other. And this song is about love. It's called "I Want a Love Like That." And it's just a song of hope. It's a song of direction. A lot of times people ask, because I founded Divorce Support Network years ago, I'm not an advocate for divorce. I'm an advocate for helping people heal from the process of divorce. And there's a difference. An advocate for the heart, an advocate for the soul, an advocate for and an advocate of just transforming people's lives through the power of God.
You're going to see next week. Don't forget, Josie's going to be live here next week. This is Josie singing. I'm going to say this right now. I want to love just like that. And maybe it's you. Maybe it's you she's talking about. So this is it. We'll see you next week. This is Pearl Pulsar from Philadelphia.
And Josie Brandon from Arizona.
See you next week. I want to love just like that.
Look at them dancing as they go across the floor. Twisting and turning and yearning for so much more. And every night you'll find them at the bed, laughing and talking all about yesterday. And I wanna love like that. I wanna love like that. So don't ever tell me that long love just cannot be found. 'Cause when you look for it, you'll find that it's all around. Just look at them gazing as he touches her head. She smiles and tells him that she's so glad that she's there. And I wanna love like that. I wanna love like that. So don't ever tell me that long love just cannot be found. 'Cause when you look for it, you'll find that it's all around. So don't ever tell me that long love just cannot be found. 'Cause when you look for it, you'll find that it's all around.